Al Nassr in for Bruno Fernandes, but I'm pretty sure that is pointless news because if he's rejected Al Hilal because his family didn't want to go to Saudi and he rejected a lot of money from them, I can't see him going to Al Nassr despite links to obviously Portugal's coach. RB Leipzig have asked for Rasmus Højlund. I'm not lying. RB Leipzig, Fabrizio Romano Bomba, have asked Manchester United for Rasmus Højlund. They want Højlund in a deal for Sesko. Will Højlund agree to that move? What is the latest on Benjamin Sesko and Manchester United? Will Højlund leave? Will the swap deal be going on? Because Leipzig wants Højlund, they dream of Højlund. More confirmation on that today. Man United also looking at midfielders confirmed Fabrizio Romano. So we're going to get into a big update on Benjamin Sesko, Rasmus Højlund, and the midfield situation. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup. Where yes, I'm rounding up all the latest Manchester United news in 10 minutes for you guys, so you're up to date because there's been about 100 stories on Sesko and things today, and I'm going to get the ones from reliable sources and get to the point. If you do enjoy today's video, feel free to hit that like button, and of course, if you're new and want daily updates, feel free to subscribe. So this is coming out from Portuguese media, and I'm just going to report on it because people are talking about it, but I don't think it's relevant, and I'm going to get this very quickly out of the way. But Al Nassr coach George Jesus wants to secure the signing of Bruno Fernandes this summer. Money won't be a problem. Possible contact has already taken place in the last few hours. It's under George Jesus that Bruno made his debut at Sporting. Irrelevant for me. I don't care if there's contact taking place. I don't care if money won't be a problem. Bruno Fernandes rejected Al Hilal because his family did not want to move to Saudi Arabia. I think is what was said, or something like that. Or he spoke to his family and they weren't okay with the move. And I think deep down, I think Bruno was almost using Al Hilal to see if someone like a Bayern Munich or PSG maybe had gone in for him. I think he still wants to play at the highest level. So yeah, I don't think Bruno is going to be going to Al Nassr. I know Ronaldo's there. I know there's more Portuguese links there. But I can't see the deal happening. I think he will reject them. But look, if we get any updates in the morning, I will keep you up to date on that. But unless anything relevant comes in from a reliable source, we're going to skip to the Sesko news. Benjamin Sesko and Rasmus Højlund update via Fabrizio Romano. Sesko is very open to joining Manchester United, even without European football. Yeah, we've been told that a million times. We don't care anymore. Anyway, Leipzig told Manchester United to give them Højlund when the club contacted them for Sesko. They consider Højlund the perfect player for the striker position, a dream. So we literally went to them and was like, we're interested in Sesko, give us Højlund. Leipzig say, give us Højlund. They want Højlund. All I'm saying is, look, I think Højlund could be a great player in future and a great signing for Leipzig. But Højlund for Sesko, give Leipzig what they want. Give Leipzig what they want. It depends, obviously, how much money they want on top of Højlund. If they want a lot of money on top of Højlund, probably not worth it. But if they're asking for Højlund, this is something that's got to be explored. Because that can get Højlund off our books and bring in a better player to replace him. Now, I think Højlund will be a good player at Leipzig, and I think Højlund will have a good career. But I feel like he will still struggle at United next season, despite looking good in pre-season. Romano said, if Benjamin Sesko wants to join Manchester United, isn't us, we'll send you immediately an official bid, said United. Romano said, Man United basically said to Leipzig, if Sesko wants us, we'll send you a bid. Of course they will. If Leipzig have asked Manchester United for Rasmus Højlund, saying, give us Rasmus Højlund a bit of money and we'll give you Sesko, of course Man United are going to do that. If Benjamin Sesko agrees terms with Man United, and considering Newcastle walking away, I assume he has maybe have some verbal agreement with United, and United are now preparing a bid. United wouldn't prepare a bid unless Sesko showed he was interested. Newcastle walked away. There's a feeling that Sesko's informed United he's interested. We don't know for sure. But Romano is saying that United basically said to Leipzig, if Sesko wants to join us, we'll send you an official bid immediately. If Leipzig are saying, give us Højlund and a little bit of money, of course United are going to make a bid immediately. If Sesko says, yep, I want the move, I'm going to agree terms. Romano is saying Man United is serious. They have serious intentions about doing this deal. So let's see. Let's see. And I think as well, Romano said this is showing the club's serious intention and how they would want to confirm probably to the player how ready they'd be. Sesko has maybe reservations at how ready United are compared to Newcastle United. But this is our way of saying, look, if you say yes, Sesko, we're ready to bid immediately to do this deal. And if Leipzig have said to United that they want Højlund involved in the deal, I can see why. I can see why Leipzig want Højlund. I think Højlund will be good at Leipzig. I could see if they wanted like 40 million plus Højlund, I could see why United wouldn't want to do that. But if it was something like 20 million plus Højlund, I could see why United would be interested in that. But what is Højlund's stance? This was via Fabrizio Romano, by the way. He wants to stay and fight for his place. He's received no communication from the club about leaving. If the situation changes in August, he will assess his options. If the situation changes in August, he will assess his options. My thought process. If Sesko agrees personal terms with Man United in the next few days, Man United will then tell Højlund they want him to go to Leipzig in order to get Sesko in. And Højlund, despite loving Manchester United, despite being a Man United fan, will go, you know what, Bundesliga, good opportunity for me, bish bash bosh. And I think something could happen. David Ornstein said there's a strong possibility Højlund will leave despite wanting to stay. Laurie Whitwell said it's more likely Højlund will leave than stay. Højlund wants to stay, he wants to fight for his place. But Højlund knows that Xerxes ahead of him, and Boomer and Cunha can play striker if need be, and Sesko will come in and take his place. Now, we could have Sesko and Højlund next season, Xerxes can always cover at 10, but I think if you're playing in Europe, you could have Sesko and Højlund and Xerxes, because that's depth. But I think with not being in Europe, maybe we don't need that level of depth. I think United could have Sesko and Højlund next year, and Højlund might not go anywhere. But I think if we bring Sesko in, I think there's a strong possibility Højlund could go the other way. Because I think if United communicate to Højlund they no longer want him, he will change his stance. And I think, considering we're in for Sesko, over midfield, over goalkeeper, we're willing to pay a lot of money for Sesko. I don't think Manchester United want Højlund. I just think they haven't communicated anything because they're not going to tell him he's not wanted and not have a replacement lined up. But the situation could change, and we could see a Højlund-Sesko swap deal. It's also said that Manchester United are putting their foot down behind the scenes to chase Sesko, and Newcastle were involved, but the current feeling is he'll go to Manchester United. Newcastle are involved. Newcastle seem to be stepping back from the race. There's a feeling he's going to go to United. Let's see. What else has Romano said in regards to Benjamin Sesko? United held direct talks with RB Leipzig and Sesko's agent. He's open to joining, and United informed Leipzig they're ready to negotiate and submit a bid after Sesko green light. We now have no confirmation from Romano that Leipzig have said, give us Højlund. Leipzig dream of Højlund. They've literally said, give us Rasmus Højlund. I mean, this is interesting. This is interesting. Now, Laurie Whitwell is a very credible journalist, works for The Athletic, has a Talk of the Devil podcast, and he even confirmed himself that talks are progressing in regards to United and Sesko. They've progressed a bit since Wednesday. He said RB Leipzig are aware of United's intentions. However, Laurie Whitwell did mention that this deal could drag on. He said it could drag on, and United, it will depend on United's funding and the Højlund situation. What Laurie Whitwell is saying is, if Højlund won't go to Leipzig or won't leave, a deal to get Sesko over the line could drag on. United want Sesko, things are advancing. They have an intention to bid, but the deal could drag on to deadline day, depending on one, how much it's going to cost, are RB going to lower the price, and two, the Højlund situation. Now, I want to also talk a little bit about Palhinha. Fabrizio Romano spoke about Palhinha on his Here We Go podcast today. Palhinha's just joined Tottenham on loan with a €30 million option to buy. But Romano did say in his Here We Go podcast today that United actually considered an early move for Palhinha. He's obviously well known by Ruben Amorim because he was at Sporting under Ruben Amorim. We know Palhinha for doing well at Fulham, obviously playing at Sporting under Amorim. He went to Bayern Munich last season, and to be honest, he wasn't great at Bayern Munich last season. However, United decided not to pursue Palhinha, and Romano said the reason we decided not to pursue Palhinha is because we want a different midfield profile, someone that is still defensive but has a little bit more intensity and mobility than Palhinha, so someone younger, someone potentially more mobile. And he said that United are going to monitor the market for opportunities fitting Amorim's vision. So Romano's coming out pretty much saying Manchester United want a midfielder, they looked at Palhinha, they want someone a little bit more mobile, a little bit more athletic, and they're monitoring the market. So that's interesting. We are monitoring the midfield market. We've been linked to some players, recent links to Hayden Hackney. Let's see what happens. My feeling is we're going to get an Amrabat, Sabitzer type midfielder on the cheap on loan, and next year go out for Baleba. But if we do make some sales with Garnacho, with Højlund, with Anthony, with Sancho, I guess you never know. But the suggestions from Ben Jacobs, Baleba will be a next year thing. There is some links to Hayden Hackney, but he could go to Ipswich pretty soon. There is some links to Javi Guerrera and Lucien Agome of Seville. Let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.